Hello, the game has started. It's me to go first. I don't have a bingo. I've got U and V, which are both tiles I'd like to get rid of as soon as possible. That may not be something I can do on this turn. Well, I could play Love, keeping EIIS. And that has some merit because it's quite blocky, buying me time to sort out the imbalance on my rack between vowels and consonants. I can't see anything better than this. I think an alternative would be something like Vile or Evil, but that's not as blocky as Love, and it retains the U and doesn't score much more. I'm going with this. Great, the vowel in consonant balance hasn't got worse. I've just drawn consonants, which is great. So I've got a pretty good rack here. Can't see a 7, but I suspect there are a number of 8s. So I'm looking at the floaters on the board. Can't see anything with the L. Wow, fantastic start for my opponent. A bingo. And I have a deficit of 50 points. So, do I have anything through the floaters? The T looks promising. Smithia not good. But does that have an anagram? I think it may do. But it hasn't come to mind. The I doesn't look promising. What about the D? No, not seeing anything there. But again, it looks like it could have some potential. How about the R? Can't see anything. And what about the S? Well, no. I've got the miss beginning and ism ending. Wow, it would be annoying to miss a bingo here. This feels really close, especially with the T. And I'm wondering if I'm thinking of Smithia, because this is a genuine word set which makes a word. But I'm sure Smithia is definitely not good. Okay, well, in terms of playing through this rack, I've got the H and the M for score. I certainly want to play off one of the I's. SH is good. So how about a 5-letter play in column 8 at the bottom? Can't see anything. What about a play beginning with the I? Wow, I've got Imshi. And although it burns the S, the score of 41 points is good. The rack leave is good. It's opening the board up. Can I do better than that? That's 41. How about playing my high? 33. Only 8 fewer points. I'll hang on to the S. Fantastic. I am surely bingoing with this rack. I have Argents, Garnets and Strange as 7s. But there's quite a few floaters on this board as well. There are 2 double lanes available at the moment. One's just been taken through the TI. How about through the S? I think Strange is good, but that's not a double, and I don't think it has any anagram. Do I have a play ending in M? I don't think so. So do I have access to any double word squares at all? Not sure I do. Well, apart from Strangers, is there anything better than that? Love takes an S. But I think the best I can do is Strange and Loves, and that's not going to be better than Strangers. I'm not 100% sure of this, but I think it's good. Okay, so I now have a small lead. and a balanced rack with scoring tiles. Possible there's a bingo here, but F and M don't go particularly well together. I've got foot as a component part of a bingo, but I'm not seeing anything. Both of my scoring tiles go above the E of strangers. Strangers takes an E in front. I'd quite like to get rid of both the M and the F to maximise score. Just 32 points for my opponent, so we're neck and neck. Do I have anything through this L? It would be nice to put my F on the L, but I think the best I can do is fled, and that retains both O's. So not great, but it's 33 points, so that's what I need to beat in combination with rack leave. So what about a play above this A? I've got OF, keeping moted. Let me see what that scores. That's 28 points, pretty good. Better than the fled play, a much better rack leave. But is there something better than either? I can't do anything more on this spot than of. Let me just put this back momentarily. Just rechecking this L, even with the F1 square out. I can't see anything through it, which uses one of the O's and the F and the M. Can't see anywhere for Mofo, which scores anything half decent. I'm going with of. And I think that's a good play because that A is quite dangerous. Both the Z and the J can go above it. The L, a less dangerous spot. Well, quite balanced. I've retained the M for score, which I may need. Great. Looks opponent has slowed down. Now what I didn't do was retain the F for going in front of the L. The M does not go in that spot. ES could be a useful two-letter set. I've got moodiest, but that's not a bingo. So opponents play of Ague blocked moodiest and doomiest. Can't see any other bingos with this rack. So this L proves pretty elusive in terms of providing scoring opportunities. I'm not seeing anything great through it at all. A play of tilde doesn't score very much and retains double O. That can't be best. So what about a play down from the T? Not seeing anything. 12 minutes on my clock, 51 tiles in the bag. Tick stakes, nothing in front of it or after it. Now a play of just moo would leave a decent rack leave. I'm not going to play that in column 14 because it's providing too easy a scoring spot in column 15. I could play it down here. Only 19 points. That is annoyingly small. What about a play lower down which begins M-O-E? Let me see what this scores. That's 25 points. Rack leave not so good. And it's opening up a pretty hot spot in column 5, so I don't like that. Let me put this back. Is there really nothing through this L? What about Molto? Is that good? 24 points, keeping DEI, not providing anything massive, and denying my opponent that spot. This may not be good. Let me try it. And it is good. Fantastic. I have Cindery. Nowhere for that. Ague takes a D and an S. Great. Opponent's still slowing down and struggling with vowels. Just played 5 vowels in the last 2 moves and no consonants. And we are still neck and neck. I don't think Cindery has an anagram. Strangers takes a T at the end. Now I had a T last turn and I hadn't really considered that spot, so I may have missed something there. I no longer have that T. My Y can go after if, so I could play DFI, which is quite nice. That only opens up row A for a 6-letter play, not a bingo, so less dangerous than opening a bingo lane. Keeping Crin. Still a lot of E's to come, and that Rackley would benefit from an E. Do I have a play utilising a Strangers? Well, even if I did, it's not going to score very much. Slightly hesitant about burning my E so cheaply. But I like the fact that this isn't giving a huge amount away. It is providing access to both triple word squares, but only for 6-letter plays. 24 for DFI. I draw the J. Can't see any 6-letter plays with this rack. I've got Ninja on my rack. So I may struggle to play off the J. I could play JAI, but that's not great because of keeping the duplicate N. I could play Ninja and NY, but that stops 1 square short of column 15, with an S and 2 blanks to come. The 2 blanks suggest that it would be worthwhile turning over a lot of tiles if I can. So I can play Ninja in row A, which turns over 5 tiles, gets rid of the J, sorts out the duplicate N, keeping CR, which is a decent rack leave, the correct balance of vowels and consonants. Opponents played great, just 14 points, and provided a spot for Jin. I didn't see my opponent playing that. I hope it hasn't been there for a long time. So Jin for 25, keeping a decent rack leave. 8 minutes on my clock, which isn't very much. My clock seems to be travelling at twice the speed of my opponent. But look at this. Opponent's used less than 2 minutes of time, so that's why my clock's going down. Opponent is just playing really quickly. Jin does allow an A and an O to go to the right of the J. But I'm not too bothered about ladders when we're this close. Just looking at the score for Ninja, Jin is better. I'm going with this. Not great, that doesn't feel very balanced. But do I have a 6-letter play? I have Canapé. Just the 19 points for my opponent and a new bingo lane opened. I think Canapé can be spelt without the S on the end. 36 points, good score. Turning over tiles, good. And I dodged the blanks, 27 tiles to come, and I only lead by 50. Through an E, I would have Weltered. The E of Tiddlers, not available. UD, not good. There goes one of the blanks, and a bingo for my opponent, who now leads by 27. I'm looking at the floaters in Canapé to see if I've got a bingo, and I don't think I do. What I do have, though, is a T for Strangest, and I need to pick up the pace a bit, given how rapidly my opponent is playing. Tweed for 49. I've got a better play than that. Tweel, keeping DR for 46. Not great. I have a 20-point lead. Still a blank out there, still an S. And still quite a few bingo possibilities. But not with this rack for me. However, my K and B can go in front of the Y, so do I have a 6-letter play? Well, any such play has just been blocked by my opponent, who only scores 25 points. I now trail by 6. 11 tiles in the bag. I have Burke. For 48 points, which is a big score. Floater's not massively useful. I'm taking out the floaters in canapé. And the reason I want to take floaters out is because Burke will give me a lead of about 40 points. And I want to reduce my opponent's chances of replying with a bingo. So Burke for 48. Fantastic, I draw that final blank. And the rest of the rack doesn't look too bad. There could be a bingo here. I have Oil Bird on my rack, can't see anywhere for that. Yes, I can, Oil Bird and Agued. Fantastic, and it still plays. Superb. Do I have something better? What are the other bingo lanes on this board? Well, there's row O ending in L. Can't see anything there. What about column 1 beginning with B? Well, there could be something here. A play beginning BLI, for example. But I'm not seeing it. I think I'm going to get Oil Bird down. Let me just look at the scores. I'm up by 30, so this is going to put me up by about 100. The opponent could come back with a Z play, but I don't think it's going to be a 100-point Z play. 68 points. Opponent does have the Z, but the rest of the rack not great. My rack, pretty good. So I've got Crine in column 1. Do I have another out? Rain and Rhine are the 4s with this rack. Do I have anything using Quat? Either through Quat or sticking an E on the end. Can't see anything. I have Rennig in row M, so I'm definitely going out, so this game should be in the bag. What's the most I can score? 12 points for Rennig. Can't see anything placing the E in second place. Now my I can go after the Q. Can't see anything with this rack plus an I. What about a play underneath Oil Bird? Well, nothing that gets tripled. I have Rhine and OE. Is there some other row I'm missing? Or some other spot I'm missing? What about a play beginning with the K? I've got Re-Ink and Inker, but Naiad not good. 15 minutes on my opponent's clock. Nothing really available in the top right of the board. Or above the Y. Fax takes nothing in front of it. Okay, so I think I've exhausted the board, and the best I can see is Rennig. That stays available, 30 points for my opponent. I can do slightly better than that because Rain is good. For 15 points. Do I have anything through that spot even better? I don't think so. So rain for 15. 15 points. And the final score, 347 to my opponent, 439 to me, a winning margin of 92 points, so a huge, huge win. Let's see what I missed. And this was my opening rack. I went with Love. I could have got 24 points for Visey, probably some merit in that. Rackley pretty ropey, and providing a lot of opportunities for my opponent. So although ostensibly it may look a better play, I'm not convinced. Great rack for my opponent, and a choice of bingos. And at this point, I'm behind, opponent gets an early bingo, and it feels a bit deja vu-ish after some of my recent games where opponents got off to a flying start. And that continued with this rack where I felt there was a bingo, but I couldn't see one. And there wasn't one. Wow. Okay, I spent a while looking in vain and went with My High, which I still like, Imshi being the alternative play, which I think is probably only slightly behind. Opponent's rack plays Facts, and now I have a guaranteed bingo. I went with Strangers. I could have got one more point with Strange and Loves, and a choice of other bingos scoring less. Opponent plays Blowers, and this was a rack I struggled with. And look at this. This is the hook I didn't really spot until later in the game, the strangest hook. And Footed was available, utilising that. Instead, I went with Of for 28, which is 15 fewer points, a better rack leave, with DEMOT. But DEMOT is not 15 points better than M. Or 13 points better. How many points better? Maybe 8 or 9? I don't know. Wow, and this was my opponent's rack when I noticed that they played a couple of moves where they only played vowels. This is the reason. Ague for 21. My rack, and again the strangest hook being utilised for the higher scoring play. And I went with Molto for 24, which I suspect is not as good. Opponent struggling plays Tease. I have Cindery, but nowhere for it. So I played Deify for 24, 8k. Wow, Tyne for 39, and a decent rack leave. That would have been better. And no, I didn't have a T, so I couldn't play that in column 15. Opponent's rack, they played Gium. And now E3, Ginny onto the I. Pretty good, 24 points. I played Gin for 1 more point, and keeping a better rack lead, so I prefer my play. Opponent still struggling with vowels, plays Pier, and now I lead by 14. And I play Canapé for 36, a 13 Carap, making Jar and Gip. Probably worth considering as well because it takes out an easy scoring spot for my opponent. Opponent's rack very nice. Gets a bingo down with Yeading. Now I trail by 27 with 20 tiles in the bag. I thought about Tweed, preferred Tweel because DR is better than LR, and it may not be. So DR I don't think is 3 points better than LR, but it is better, and I wanted the flexibility of the best possible rack lead, so I don't mind the small score sacrifice. Also L, yet less useful as the final word in a bingo than the D, which was my main concern. My opponent bingoing. Opponent's rack, pretty horrible QV combo. Plays Coon, And I have Burke for 48, which was a really welcome sight. It really put some daylight between my opponent and I. Between my opponent and me. And also meant that I could survive a bingo. Now, opponent's rack plays quats. And I have this rack. And I was delighted to see Oilbird. It was the only bingo. And it pretty much guaranteed the win. Opponent has Zoes for 30. And finally, Rain for 15 was best. So, a fantastic game. Really exciting stuff. Opponent getting off to a bingo, but they didn't win. I came back and overtook them and managed to hang on. So absolutely fantastic start to the new year. I think this is going out on January the 1st, so happy new year to everyone. I hope it's a really good year for you, and I hope this channel continues throughout the year and that you enjoy watching the games. My rating is teetering on the brink of dipping down into the 1600s, an unthinkable thought, but will it happen? You'll have to carry on watching to find out. I would hope that it would increase back into the 1800s, but it's very hard to tell. And one of the reasons my rating, I think, has sunk down to this level is that I've had the good fortune on this channel of being able to play against some really good players. Very few of my games are one-sided or huge mismatches in terms of ability, so I'm really grateful to all the players who are willing to play against me on ISC, and I'm grateful that there's such a high standard. It means I'm able to consistently put out good quality games, which hopefully you can enjoy and also learn from if that's what you're looking to get out of these videos. Anyway, thank you for watching this game, and I will see you next time.